Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to my channel, Joy to the World. I am your reader, Melissa Joy. Now, I gotta tell you, some special stuff coming in for you, friend. It could seem like you've been through a really challenging time, maybe some loss, some sacrifice, a difficult era. Maybe a period of about 5 years. Yeah, definitely. But what I love is at the split, this is what showed up. And see the spots, it's that new beginning, moving into, there was a bit of a learning curve, moving into the maturity of who you are now, the ownership of who you are, not your identity, your sense of self, your self-assurance. When your sense of self and your self-confidence come together, it makes you self-assured. And self-assured is people being in a state where you're in the center of yourself in such a way that in a group of people, you don't lose who you are. A conversation can go this way and that, and you might have the belief system or the opinion that doesn't match up with anybody there, and they're like, yeah, right, and you're like, well, actually, I don't see it that way. Here's how I see it. And just being at ease with that. Virgo, I love it, my friend. Look at that. And that gives you this magical power of being able to display the things that you had felt inside before but had kept repressed for whatever reason. But I love it. You're catching up immediately. I mean, like the moment you step into this, the reward is instantly there. So you had the 5 of these endings, and look what's coming up out of the stump. New life. This owl, silent, swift, and steady, is coming forward for you, representing new life. And there are new creatures on the horizon, new opportunities opening up for you. Those provisions, those pouches of provision. Some of you, the letter A is very important here. Maybe you're a writer as well. But there's some ancient history coming on in for you. What else here? Spirals of life. Some of you, it feels like you're coming out of a trick. It's time for that treat, right? The reward that you kept having these carrots dangled in front of you. Maybe a promise of promotion at work. If you did this or you did that, or the more agreeable or the more helpful you were, it was all going to work in your favor. And you're like past that. And what I love is Owl Spirit's here with you too, to move forward and go, yeah, leave that. Leave that. Anything that has strung you along, relationship, connection, business, because a relationship simply means a two-way street. You and your work, you and the school you're at, you and your family, that type of thing, you and your lover, whatever it is, and also you and yourself. And as we begin to mend that state with ourselves, right, where we know who we are and we believe and we trust that we're meant to be beautiful and shine, that we don't have to reduce that just because the rest of the world is dark. No altering who you are. And we've got the healing coming in. This is the overarching read for the whole week for everybody, is doing away with that perpetual winter, leaving out from Saturn, no longer having to be hemmed in and held in by those old ways, by the way we were told the world runs, by the way we're told success comes forward into our life and comes to stay, the way we make our money, what is healthy food. You know, there's so much blabbity blab out there about that who's right? Do you know what I mean? Who's right? Being in that true right relationship with yourself tells you what is good for you today, tomorrow, 3 hours from now, whatever else. Getting into that song, that symphony of your life where you can enjoy each moment instead of putting these, you know, abrupt barriers and barricades in on it. Okay. That was a lot of choppity chop, my friend. Okay, so let's get into a pearl real quick. I'm going to see what you got going on with these guys here, because you just kept splitting the deck. You're like, which I love, because you don't have to go splitting hairs. You don't have to go all that work of continuing to shift and shuffle and to move things around and look like you're doing a lot of great things in order for the truth to come forward, in order to feel settled. All right, so let's get you at the bottom, man holding a heart. Now this one, I really like that as opposed to the man holding a coin. Because when that man holding a coin, there's a false light on him, a false promise coming forward, and this has to do with some authenticity is what I see, and some softness. And you might be having a little bit of reservation. Maybe a little bit of doubt, like, how is this really all going to work out for me? Yes, I'm feeling it. Yes, I'm stepping forward in this. Yes, I'm living and seeing some of these things. But then as your mind or your soul wants to start leveling up to the next dream, next desire, next, you know, where is she? This next shine, and you're like, oh, I'm a little scared. Just say you're scared. Tell yourself you're scared and say, okay, I'm scared. What do I do? And then you'll get that answer. We're emailing ourselves, right? We're at that time continuum. We're talking to ourselves and allowing it to have that little bit of time to return to us authentically in our own voice, where it makes sense, where it comes with the courage, where it comes supported, okay? So the blossoming abundance is coming out. Now that's heaven on earth. It's more than just money. That is heaven on earth. It is peace being here. It is being at ease. And I love it because one of the collective cards came in. These aren't being used for these readings. An offer is being made to you, my friend. An offer. A verifiable offer. And it's one that no strings attached. You kind of get to write in your offer, okay? Maybe some of you are putting in an offer on a house and it's just at the top of your budget and you want to have that extra cushion, that room to either pay realtor's fees or to furnish the house. Negotiate. Negotiate. It's not hard set. They're not gripping or grabbing, are they? And you see these lines in the background, that's like the primary tablet where you learn how to write. So begin to speak up for what your desires are, what you're willing to offer. What you're willing to offer for the exchange, okay? And just as easily as they propose to you, feel as comfortable proposing back. And then have that little dynamic conversation and then come to a place where either it settles and you agree or where it settles and you don't agree. And then you go, okay, that didn't work. I'm going to move on forward and keep looking till I find another offer that I'm interested in. That could be a job offer. That could be a home. It could be moving. Maybe you're trying to decide where you want to go live and you're wanting to move out of country. But those are all things that are just easily presented here. Look at that effortlessness and looking forward into what can be seen. See, things that were once sealed off from us are becoming quite knowable these days. There's this big opening. I know people talk about Lion's Gate if you're showing up calendarically, but that's a gate that's always there and it's always open. But there are times that we need those Hallmark card moments in order to celebrate somebody. Like it needs to say Mother's Day before we tell them, thank you for being my mom. That it needs to be someone's birthday before you give them a gift and tell them, thank you, I appreciate you. Or you can step into this whole new world where every day is a celebration. Every day is a special occasion, my friend. And that begins to do away with this limited one-sided ministry that you had that had robbed you blind, stole you friend, and broke you down to the bare baubles that all you had left. I feel like almost somebody stranded you in a commitment, like divorce, right? And maybe you were left raising the kids alone, and which you don't resent, but it's challenging. It has its own challenges, right? Or maybe you've had to make do with things that are breaking down and just hobbling along, but you were willing. But this is something that you're being liberated from now. This is what has been happening and how it's been feeling for some time, Virgo. And this is your truth. I love that your truth is coming in to supplant this, that now you see clearly. Now that the pain is gone, the rain is gone, all the obstacles in your way have been moved. Now, that must be why they put that miracle reading in the week leading up to this healing one. I was like, well, that's really interesting. But the miracle is almost like the ignition of the car so that now you can move about and get to the things that you've been longing to get to. And the healing comes in so that there's no more having to jerry-rig things that you were trying to get along with. No more having to eat from the crumbs at the bottom of the bowl and hoping that there's something for tomorrow. This is more than a promise coming in. This is an actuality. Okay? I love that. That's a beautiful and amazing because you're moving towards your truth being your full reality. When you feel yourself standing in this, you'll be like, that's right, Joy, I feel it now. I feel it now. Because many of us have been living in our reality, and that's why it was hard. One step forward, two steps back, right? But now you're in the actuality where you're in real-time understanding of how to make those decisions and what really seems to suit you. And you've had that bit of reward of standing up for yourself. And these aren't fights or arguments or anything else, but it's before where Virgo would just kind of meld into the crowd a little bit because it's more people appeasing, wanting everyone to get along, and there's no need to speak up and ruffle feathers or anything like that, right? But that was the old day. There's this bit that you can be gentle and kind and still have this amazing victory going on. All right, and split. Liberating you from that, because that's where you tied your tongue. That's where you tied your tongue. And you would always, kind of like your soul would speak in one way, and you would translate it into a more agreeable phrase. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what they're really talking about here, of having to be agreeable versus authentic. Agreeable versus authentic. And authenticity is where the actual starts coming about. You be spin doctor up on this record, my friend, and that does away with you being all tied up. So let's see if there's any more wisdom card coming out of here for Virgo. Yes, I see you. Ooh. Okay, there's a bit of conflict in turn the cards. So it could seem the envy, like as you shine bright, not wanting to make other people feel bad at the privilege you have. Some of you might be winning a trip. Some of you might be receiving an offer from across the seas to live that glory life that everybody hears about, but thinks no one gets to have. And, but I would say, you know, ask yourself about that reluctance. And why are you feeling reluctant? And if you start saying they, them, or any other pronoun, then I am me. All right. First, scrape those off and clear that out. Then when you get into the dialogue with yourself of like, why am I sort of resistant and holding back or concerned about how it would make me feel? Then you can get into that actual, right? Because maybe there aren't any excuses there. Maybe there aren't any reasons there. Maybe all the excuses and reasons were really about not wanting others to feel left out or put down, or, you know, waving your prosperity in their face while they're struggling. But the truth is, when the tide rises for one, it rises for all. That's the truth, is when we begin to appreciate what is working for us, it transforms the environment around us. Not by you pulling pieces off yourself or paying for everybody's lunch or pouring out more wisdom or giving them more time. No, it's actually just staying in the value of who you are and enjoying your life. And then that just works out. It's, no, it's magical in its own right. But this is that breath, this is that courage, this is that staying power in the belly to trust this, my friend, because somebody giving you that offer, you see, there's only one little suitcase here, so what would seem like it would just be a trip at first becomes an offer to move or live there. And they're like, well, we already have the housing provided, you just need to pay the utilities and for your food. And you're like, what? And then, but they're also paying for your career, your job. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have income, but you also have housing, and it's not shabby housing. You know how I know? Look in there. So some of you, consider that transfer that you're being offered. Consider moving to a new town, a new country, a new continent. It's a lot of excitement there, Virgo. It seems that you're kind of savvy, my friend, when you open up and you move past this old energy and you start thriving from who you really are, this beauty, this amazingness, because that darkness around is like the virginal quality of Virgo, and the flowers blossoming and blooming, and no more of they love me not. They approve of me not having to live in that state where other people's opinions can stick on you like bumper stickers on your fine machine you have, my friend. Be yourself, shine, and be glorious. I celebrate you, Virgo. If this sounds good to you, friend, click that subscribe and join my channel. And I'd also ask you to do me a favor before you go. Hey, tap that like button real quick, and it'll help us rise up to the top. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments down below. I love you all. Bye.